good afternoon, everyone. So I'd like to welcome all of you for our webinar, very exciting webinar on the topic of Gen AI and how organizations can use artificial intelligence, specifically generative AI, to acquire new talent, maintaining existing talent with very innovative tools, right? And we always talking about employee engagement. We always talk about internal data, whether we are using internal data for finding expertise, right? So we have got lots of data internally within our organizations. And are we really utilizing the generative AI capabilities, such as prompt-based conversations with the system? How do we get an AI assistant within the organization? So to talk about that more in detail, I have Ahmed Salim. He's our business automation specialist from IBM in Saudi Arabia. With that quick introduction, I'll leave the floor to Ahmed. Ahmed, over to you.
Thank you, Nadir, very much for having me today. And thank you for all the attendees for their time joining this webinar today with the Resemble Systems and the IBM. So as Nazir mentioned, we have now a game changer in the market, which is generative AI and the artificial intelligence, the hype of open AI and what it brought to the market when it comes into the proper utilization for large language models and infusing the artificial intelligence in our day-to-day tasks, and how we can map this to run our business on the other side. So let me introduce myself. I am Ahmed Salim. I'm handling business automation portfolio in IBM Saudi Arabia. And today I will take you through a new innovative technology from IBM, watsonx Orchestrate. This is the tool where we are bringing the generative AI and the large language model into the business space to mainly increase the employee productivity and increase the efficiency of the employees, where we can save hundreds, if not thousands, of working hours to do more innovative tasks. So without wasting time, let's get into the presentation. And I would like to highlight one fact that we want to start with the what we call it the market trends and the figures that we are having from the market. Because if we look into the macroeconomic and the demographic trends that are driving the adoption of automation technology, as you know, the growth of productivity, if you look into the history, it's driven by the huge events, maybe a positive or negative events like the Industrial Revolution, or even worldwide, the World War I and World War II, and all the innovation and the science technologies that we got out of these huge events. However, having these technologies and the evolving of the technologies, still the productivity growth has been slowing down. Okay, and this is actually it's concerned a lot of countries. As you can see in the graph, we have many countries which has this growth start declining as it reached 1% in the last 20 years. In general, all large economies has displayed the same slowdown trend. And this will lead us to this graph. What is the gap that we have in the talent as long as the productivity is slowing down? So as you can see, this graph is illustrating that we are reaching 10% of the working age cohort globally, which means we have a workforce declining in 2013, and it expecting in the next 20 years to be around 10% down. So how we can overcome these gaps, and what the business should focus on to be able to do their day-to-day tasks, okay? Because to have more understanding about what business is aiming for, let's focus on what business is about. First thing, the business is focusing on the revolution. where the customers, they are spending money to save money, right? Whenever you are presenting a technology to your customer, you are doing the ROI, return of investment, right? You will invest this amount of money, you will spend this amount of money, and you will save that amount of money, right? So this is what we call the revolution. So this is one of the aspects that the business is focusing on. The second aspect is the innovation, right? So customers or the business, they are spending money to make money, which means we need a new business model to have a new revenue stream, right? So if you look into many industries, even the government industries and the government organizations, they are started doing monetization for their services, right? They are giving services to the public, but when the enterprises needs to make use of these data, they can monetize it and pay against this. So these are the main drivers, the focus of the business. However, these two approaches to revolution and to do an innovation, you need a workforce, right? So after these shocking statistics, we can see that the AI assistant is something new and come to the picture. So we need someone to help the current workforce to cover this gap that we talk about, right? So if we can have an artificial intelligence or a digital labor who can assist any worker in his position, this definitely will boost the productivity, right? And this is become a key imperative to keep brands healthy and competitive in the market, right? We need a new revenue stream, so we need someone that can think about out of the box about new value stream, new ways to get new revenue to their companies. So between all that the systems or the softwares that the company acquired, currently we still have like an average of the employee, the productivity is 3 hours, okay? And this is actually something that worried all the companies about their productivity. And definitely this will impact their role and their position in the market and how they can increase their market share and accordingly achieve more revenue, right? However, 13% of the employees are satisfied with their experience, which is very, very low percentage, right? Despite that all the companies are spending money to have or acquire some technologies to help their employees doing their tasks, right? And the most famous softwares that we have, ERP solutions, the CRM solutions, right? HR solutions, where each and every one will fill a gap to help their employees to do their day-to-day task. If you are an HR consultant, you need to have an HR system to help you save all the candidate resumes, for example, doing search, manage the salaries, compensations for the company employees and all this stuff, right? So having these facts, still the organization or the company focusing on the softwares that focus on the business stream. However, if you look into any employee and the day-to-day tasks of their employees, we have, let's pick, for example, the HR. The HR is a very famous use case where it exists across all industries. So you can't say that, okay, we have an HR in one company, we don't have HR department in the other company. So this is a generic domain that you can find it across all the industries. So look into the HR talent recruiter in any company. What they are focusing on? They are focusing on discovering, hiring, and onboarding new talent, right? So the best recruiters need to spend their time reviewing candidates, building a strong relationship with them, qualifying talent to accelerate them to that critical moment of hiring, right? So the recruiters realize that behind each task were a lot of manual steps and automation for a specific flow, and the requirements are unique, and you don't bubble up to the corporate priorities list of standard repetitive tasks, right? The company, what it does from their side, they are bringing through an HR system. But you as an HR talent recruiter, you have many other tasks that you need to do away from your main HR system, right? And this leaves the recruiter having to jump from application to another. If he save his candidates in a work day, for example, as a system, he has to go to the Outlook to send an email to them telling them that you are shortlisted and we need to do an interview and continues the whole process, right? On top of that, they are challenging of using the tools because the company is coming with a new tool today. Maybe they will change it tomorrow to another tool to do a cost reduction, for example, or they might have a better tool to help their departments. So as you can see from the slide that you are looking at, we have very huge manual tasks that the expert should do. You are struggling swiveling between the systems because you need to know how to navigate across these systems. And if you look into the problems that he faced, he has to switch from one application to another to, for example, raise a ticket on your internal ticketing system, and he should be aware of how this system is working, right? So he has to have some experience about his main core systems that he's working on and the supportive systems, which add more headache and the pressure on top of the employees, right? And the last challenge, especially for the new hiring in any company, they don't know what are the tools that should support them, because the companies has to give them a training. So the employee, the new hired employee, his productivity is taking time, like maybe weeks, if not months, till he started to be productive and start giving back to the company. So he's stuck and he has to communicate with the other colleagues in the company. So these all like flow that we know about it, and part of them we are experiencing ourselves, right? The need for automation here is growing faster. The need for automation is going faster and growing faster than the technology, right? Every day in your organization, you have a business request. You have a lot of business requests across different departments, right? But the technology cannot match all these requirements, right? So the traditional automations that we are calling a traditional automation solutions are focusing streaming mission critical business processes like what we mentioned, right? Because the company is saying, okay, I'll give you a system, this will help you to accelerate, right? But they don't know that to do a hiring process, for example, the HR recruiter has to swivel between 5 to 6 systems to do the hiring process. So it's not only a single system that he communicates with. So as you can see, we have a lot of systems around the employee that he has to deal with in his day-to-day tasks. Okay. So as many of people may already know or will learn through out of this presentation that watsonx Orchestrate, it's an IBM technology. We need an artificial assistant tool. Just we need to have some orders from the employee and let them carry out the repetitive manual task and communicate with the back-end systems without bothering the employee about how to do this, how to navigate across this system, and how the process is working even. So I want to do a mindset shift between the employee is focusing how to do the task. So he needs to know how many systems he wants to work with and how he can navigate through these systems, and what is the proper steps that he has taken to swivel between one system to another. He might start with an HR system, for example, in SAP. He wants to go to Workday to do some interviews task. Then he has to deal with a custom workflow to automate the interviews process, then dealing with an Outlook to send an emails, a notification for the attendees, and so on and so forth. So he's keeps swiveling between different systems. And having that, we need to we look closely at the friction points hindering employees' productivity. It's easy to see that the employees are tasked with using multiple tools, as we just mentioned. So in the left side, as you can see, the employees are stepping through expert level tasks. So these are the expert people. They know the process inside their minds, and they start executing, swiveling between different systems till they deliver their work, right? On the right side, you have the new employee who are not expert. So they are spending time learning. They are trying to communicate with the experts people, which is make them busy a little from doing a productive work for the enterprise and trying to help their colleagues. And in the middle, you have these employees that are struggling between these two personas. That's why IBM trying to reimagine the way we work. With the AI assistant, enterprises can harness the power of AI and automation. So we can free up individuals from these manual, low repetitive tasks, copy and paste data between systems, clicking from system to another system, chasing after work and people, right? So the individual no longer need to build expert knowledge, because this knowledge, I will dump it inside my Watson assistant, where it will drive and guide you through the process of the hiring process, of procure to pay process, whatever process that you are doing. So automatically the process will guide you. Let me give you a small example. If you want to register for an event, for example, or register in Gmail, creating an email, you are getting a new form and it's giving you multiple steps, right? You are dealing with one form, maybe 2, 3 forms, but you are not swiveling between systems. But you are driven by the flow saved inside the system. So you are going from page 1 or form 1 to form 2 to form 3. You don't know what is behind the scene. This is exactly what IBM is trying to do. And instead of the HR talent worker is trying to swivel between different systems, no, I will give you one screen, which is you can chat, use natural language technique to be able to chat with the tool, and the tool will take care of executing all your commands across the backend systems. So you no longer need to know how to navigate through your HR system. You don't care about what the HR system look like and how I can navigate through this system. So I'm asking my chat window about what I'm trying to do, and it will communicate with the backend systems. It will guide me through the process. So you need to do a job requisition, for example, like we are going with the HR talent acquisition sample. So the process of creating a job requisition, check with the finance team if you have a budget, then creating an interview questions, post the job requisition into LinkedIn or maybe internal portal. So these are different tasks that you need. It's dealing with different systems. So the AI assistant, which is watsonx Orchestrate, will let you do all these tasks from one screen. You don't need to swivel between these old systems. Okay. So this is like an overview or a higher level of the AI assistant. So the employees and the customer. So you can utilize an AI assistant, watsonx Orchestrate, for your internal business users and for your even external customers who's trying to do any business with you, right? If you are a bank, you can expose for them like a chat window to start doing authentication, authorization, and do their operation with your company, okay? So this is the first type, where I'm availing for him a window, unified interface, that he can start chatting without calling any representative from the company and keep them busy. He can chat with an agent. And here it comes the AI assistant in the picture. So he will take all the orders and start doing the conversation using skills. And these skills, it had different types. It might be informational skills. So your customer or your business start asking information. You might ask about how many days left on my vacation balance, for example, on the holiday balance, right? So having these type of questions, you have to go navigate through your intranet portal, searching for the or logging into your HR system, trying to locate some information. But if we will go further, if you need to ask about the sick leave policy, how it's applied, is it free or it's a paid? Shall I take it like an absent or it's a paid leave? Okay. So these types of information, it's not easy to locate. You need to search in your content repository or the HR system to locate such information. But using the Watson Assistant, you will be able to ask information about any knowledge that you need to get out of your company knowledge hub or content repositories. We can connect to a content repository, we can connect to a database, we can connect to a shared folders, we can connect to websites. So, and grab all this information at your fingertip. And even going further, by after doing this information, okay, you're asked about your balance, your vacation balance, and you got a response that you have like 10 days of vacation. What will be the next step? Next step is raising a request, right? So we have an automation skill. So from the same window with the watsonx Orchestrate, you will ask the watsonx, please raise for me a leave request, and you can give him some information about from to maybe the cause or the reason of this leave and all this stuff. So you are not leaving the watsonx window, and watsonx will understand which system to execute this request against. So he knows that he will execute this against the HR system and send this request to start the workflow of approval, assign task to your manager, and start doing all the process of vacation, of having a vacation. If you look into the business scenarios, right, the HR acquisition or the HR talent acquisition, it's worked the same way. I want to have a new talent, generate for me a job requisition description, for example. So the generative AI built in inside the tool will generate for you a job description, and you can edit it and publish it from the same window. So if we have this on top of existing automation, remember that watsonx Orchestrate is coming to complement all the automation that your company invested. So you have systems that expose an APIs, right? So it services exposed to any other system to be consumed. You invested in, for example, RPAs. So you have some automation around RPA. You might have an HR system. You might have internal workflow engine, right? So we are bringing the watsonx Orchestrate on top of these to make use out of all these automation skills, okay? And this picture will give you a closer look what I meant by is coming to complement what you have, because watsonx Orchestrate is offering a unified platform to build your skills. This is what we call it, equals to the integration with the existing systems, which is a ready-made adapters inside the watsonx Orchestrate. We have more than 1,000 adapters for the automations that we have built in inside watsonx Orchestrate. You have integration points to Workday, SAP, Oracle, LinkedIn, Google, Monday, Box. So even we are supporting APIs, because if you can't find one of these capabilities or these skills exposed as a ready-made adapter, you can bring your own API. So we can integrate with your ESP layer, the integration layer, so you can make use out of these investments. And definitely the watsonx Orchestrate can natively integrate with IBM Business Automation Portfolio. So IBM has its own workflow engine, content management solutions, business rule and the business decision engine, process mining, intelligent dashboard, and all these capabilities. So watsonx can integrate seamlessly with all these capabilities. watsonx Orchestrate as well is coming with IBM RPA. So we have our own RPA. So once you acquire watsonx Orchestrate, it's coming with the RPA. Why we have an RPA built as part of our solution? Because we understand that the enterprise, it has a level of maturity where not all the systems has this integration way of thing, right? So we provide an RPA to do your automation end to end. We are trying to complement all the integration points and make use out of your investment. So out of this, what are the use cases? So use cases of the Watson Assistant or the AI assistant that we have, it's endless. As you can see, this is part of the use cases that we can use. You can use it on the customer care. And instead of having this IVR and you have to listen for 5 minutes about the offers till you get the main menu, you know, this is we are all suffering from, right? The IVR and the structured way of conversation menus, and if you forget or mistype any one of the numbers, you have to redo the process once again, right? So no, watsonx Orchestrate can help you, can help your customers to interactively swivel even between different topics. If your customer asks for a service and he wants to swivel to another service and come back for the first service that he requested for. So we are giving this flexibility. So it can help you in the sales as well. You might use the generative AI to recommend for your customer what is the best next offer. If you are in the banking industry, for example, and you have your customer paid his loan, last installment of his loan, you can recommend for him what are the financial products that will be make him or help him in his next stage, right? It can connect, it can serve you on the supply chain. It can give you like a filtration of your suppliers. If you have a new tender and you want to shortlist some of your top suppliers, you can ask watsonx, please connect to my suppliers database and retrieve for me the top 5 who has these criteria, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can define the criteria and let the generative AI generate this for you. Or you can even generate ask the Watson Assistant to generate for you a template for an offer or a contract, right? So this will definitely increase your employee efficiency. One of the most and best use cases is the finance and HR. So you can connect to your procure to pay, order to cash, these processes. For auditing, you can chat with the documents. For example, we have the financial statements of the enterprises that the top management is always interested in to know about the company position. So they have to go with the traditional way, ask the finance team to build for them some dashboards and reports, which is taking time. Why don't you use watsonx Orchestrate to start chatting and ask for whatever you want and offload all your finance team to let them day-to-day tasks, and watsonx will take this responsibility to compile and get all these information out of your financial statements. And the HR, and this is one of the use cases that I started with in the talent recruitment, and the many more areas like payroll, compensation, employee support. If you have an employee about to retire, what are the ways that the company can appreciate his end of service? He might send for him like offers, tell him about his retention plan, and so on and so forth. So the use cases are endless. And as you can see here, all these use cases coming on top of the AI assistance for the digital labor. So you can talk your language, so you can interact in your language, because we are supporting Arabic as well, beside English and many other languages in Europe, German, French, Spanish. So we are supporting a broad range of language. And I think the most important one that it's our interest here in Saudi Arabia is the Arabic one. So we are 100 supporting the Arabic. So you can chat in Arabic with the Watson Assistant and ask for all the information that you want, or implementing all the transactions that you are aiming for. Okay. So as you can see in this graph, and the other layer on this slide, on the layer down, you can see that watsonx can do a classification. So if you are like a finance team and you want to do once you are receiving invoices, bills, different type contracts, different types of documents, so watsonx can automatically classify these documents and send it to your email, or add it to your system, doing a summarization of contracts. Maybe you have a 200 page of contracts, and you can ask him to do a summary about all these 200 contracts. It can extract information out of these documents, and we will see this in the demo in a while. As I mentioned, it can integrate at the last layer. As you can see, this is like samples of the system that we can integrate, because we know that your enterprise invested in these automation capabilities, and we need to get use out of these investment for sake of increasing the employee productivities. Okay. So as I mentioned, watsonx Orchestrate can help you in the finance team, because, by the way, the coming 4 slides, as IBM, we are using watsonx Orchestrate internally. We are having Ask Finance, so we can ask him about any information that we need related to the finance part. In the procurement process, IBM procurement department is using watsonx Orchestrate to inquire about the maverick spending, manual and efficient sourcing, rating the suppliers, and as well we are using in the sales, because we need to know what are the number of leads that we have, who are the customers that not happy with the company, how we can increase the NPS and all this stuff. So, and the recommendation of the products to the customers as well. It can help you in supplier, so ask supply chain, where it will connect to your supply chain systems, and you can start get some information and even execute some transactions. As I mentioned, IBM, we are what we call ourselves the client zero. So once the watsonx Orchestrate went live, we are the first client is using watsonx Orchestrate. We are more than 300,000 employees in IBM. We are using watsonx Orchestrate in many different departments. We are using it on the HR and the quarterly promotions. We are using it on the IT support and ticketing, and this create like 15 to 40% increase in the productivity. And the data scientist in IBM was able to accomplish some work that it has from them. It is taking from them 2 weeks. They do it in one day. And by the way, we have now Ask HR inside IBM systems. So I'm not logging into any HR system. I'm using watsonx Orchestrate to ask about my vacation balance, start my vacation request, and all these HR related tasks. We have Ask IT, any technical problem that I'm facing. I'm not talking to any human. I'm not logging into another system. I'm chatting with watsonx Orchestrate about the problem and start troubleshooting and give me some solutions where it's improving the interaction and resolving the issues or the technical issues internally in a very impressive way. Who else is using watsonx Orchestrate? We have many clients. These are sample of the clients that they are using watsonx Orchestrate, and these are some numbers that came out of using the watsonx Orchestrate. For example, Avid Solutions, they have 25% reduction in time it takes to onboard new customers. On customer onboarding, it's a popular use case across all the industries. It's like an HR, it's like a finance, right? Every and each one of us in his organization has onboarding. He might onboard a new employee, so new colleague join the company, or you are onboarding a new customer to use your services. If you are a bank, if you are an insurance company, if you are a government, so you have this onboarding process, okay? And as you can see at the end, the IBM, you have saved 12,000 hours in pilot when it comes into in only 1 quarter, when it comes into the HR promotions, quarterly promotion that IBM is doing internally. Having said that, this is where IBM and Forrester last quarter in 2023 Q4, where we are named as a leader in the digital process automation software. Let's quickly, I finished my presentation. Let's move quickly to the demo.